The moment the visual appeared, it didn't announce itself with noise. There was no countdown, no dramatic teaser, no aggressive headline demanding attention. And yet, within minutes, timelines across Japan slowed down. People stopped scrolling. Screens lingered longer than usual. ROSÉ of BLACKPINK had just dropped a new YSL Beauty visual, and without saying a single word, it quietly took control of the room. At first, many couldn't explain why it felt different. The image didn't scream luxury. It whispered it. Soft lighting wrapped naturally around her skin. Her gaze was calm, steady, almost unreadable. No forced expression.
No exagerati pose.
Just Rose, centered in a frame that felt intentional down to the smallest detail. This wasn't a campaign asking for attention. It was a campaign assuming it. If you've ever wondered how a single image can outperform loud marketing strategies, stay with the story. Because what happened next wasn't accidental, and it reveals how influence actually works in the modern luxury world. Rose has stood on the biggest stages, sold out global tours, and dominated charts with BLACKPINK. But moments like this remind people that her power doesn't rely on sound or movement. In the YSL Beauty visual, she stands still, and the world moves toward her. That kind of presence can't be manufactured. It's earned through time, consistency, and authenticity. YSL Beauty understood this perfectly. Instead of surrounding Rose with heavy styling or dramatic storytelling, they stripped everything back. Clean skin, natural texture, controlled contrast. The focus wasn't just the product, and it wasn't only Rose either. It was the harmony between them. A quiet conversation between brand philosophy and personal aura in Japan, where beauty culture values balance, restraint, and precision. The response was immediate. Fashion observers noticed how the visual aligned seamlessly with Japanese luxury sensibilities. Not flashy, not aggressive, confident without arrogance, elegant without excess. Fans began sharing the image with minimal captions, as if words weren't even necessary. The most common reactions were simple. This feels expensive. This is real luxury. She fits this perfectly. The product highlighted, from YSL Beauty's Pure Shot skincare line, carries its own philosophy. It emphasizes recovery, care, and long-term skin health rather than instant transformation. That idea mirrors Rosé's public image more than many realize. She has never rushed her influence. She allows it to build gradually, layer by layer, year after year. And this campaign reflects that patience. As the hours passed, the visual didn't fade from conversation. It deepened. Beauty forums in Japan began analyzing the lighting and composition. Fashion accounts discussed how Rosé's expression communicated maturity rather than trend chasing. Blinks pointed out how effortlessly she embodied the brand's DNA without losing her own identity. This wasn't about doing something new. It was about perfecting something familiar. The timing of the release also mattered. Luxury branding is changing. Audiences are more selective now. They can sense when something is forced. They scroll past exaggerated claims and overly staged perfection. YSL Beauty responded to this shift not by shouting louder, but by going quieter. And Rose became the embodiment of that decision. If you're still listening at this point, consider this. Virality doesn't always come from shock. Sometimes it comes from recognition. From seeing something that feels right before you fully understand why. As engagement continued to climb, many fans connected this visual to Rosé's long-standing relationship with Yves Saint Laurent. This wasn't a short-term endorsement. It was the continuation of trust built over years. From front-row appearances at Saint Laurent shows to global campaigns, Rose has grown alongside the brand. This visual felt like a statement of that evolution. There was no controversy driving clicks, no drama pushing reach, just people returning to the image again and again. Screenshots were reposted, close-ups were shared, comments continued hours later, not because something new happened, but because the image stayed with people. Midway through the online discussion, the conversation shifted. Fans stopped focusing on the product and started talking about presence, about how Rose didn't look like she was selling something, but rather representing a state of being.
Calm.
Controlled. Assured. That's when the phrase pure luxury stopped sounding like marketing language and started feeling accurate. And this is where the campaign quietly wins. Luxury brands spend millions trying to manufacture desire. YSL Beauty didn't manufacture it here. They trusted it. They trusted Rose to carry the emotion without instructions. They trusted the audience to feel rather than be told. What makes this moment even more fascinating is how little explanation it required. There was no press release filled with exaggerated promises. No urgency pushed onto viewers. And yet, the response kept growing. That's because the visual tapped into perception rather than persuasion. In Japan especially, luxury is not defined by excess. It is defined by control, by knowing exactly when to stop. Rosé's YSL Beauty visual stopped at precisely the right moment. Nothing felt overdone. Nothing begged to be noticed. The confidence came from restraint, and that restraint spoke louder than spectacle ever could. As fans revisited the image, many noticed details they had missed at first. The way the light softened her features without erasing texture, the balance between vulnerability and authority in her gaze, the absence of distraction. Every element worked together to create a feeling rather than deliver a message. This is where true retention begins. Not when viewers are shocked, but when they're invited to look again. Rose has always existed between worlds, between idol and artist, between global celebrity and private individual, between trend and timelessness. YSL Beauty didn't try to redefine her. They framed her. And by doing so, they allowed audiences to project their own meaning onto the visual. That's why the discussion expanded beyond Blink communities. Fashion students analyzed the composition. Beauty editors referenced it when discussing modern campaign strategies. Even casual viewers unfamiliar with skincare details paused long enough to experience something rare in advertising. In an era where everything moves fast, calm becomes disruptive. The campaign also reinforced Rosé's role as more than a spokesperson. She acts as a cultural bridge, someone who can connect Western luxury houses with Asian sensibilities without friction. That ability isn't accidental. It's built through consistency, trust, and authenticity. And authenticity is what kept people watching, reading, and sharing. If you're still here, think about this. How often do beauty campaigns hold attention without telling you what to think? Without creating artificial urgency or controversy?
Rarely.
Yet this one did. Because it respected the viewer, as engagement continued, something subtle happened. The conversation shifted from the campaign itself to what it symbolized. A quieter era of influence. A rejection of overstimulation. A reminder that presence can be more powerful than performance. Rose didn't need to reinvent herself.
She simply appeared as she is now.
More grounded, more assured, more aware of her impact. That matters, because influence at her level comes with pressure. Pressure to constantly be louder, bolder, more shocking. This visual chose the opposite path. And in doing so, it felt refreshing. Luxury brands are watching reactions like this closely. What YSL Beauty achieved wasn't just virality. It was alignment between brand values, audience expectations, and the person representing them. That alignment is why the visual didn't burn out quickly. It lingered. It stayed relevant even after the initial wave passed. And staying power is the real currency now that AS days turned into weeks. The image remained a reference point, a quiet benchmark. People didn't ask if others had seen it. They asked how it made them feel. That shift alone explains why this moment mattered. This wasn't a campaign chasing numbers. It was a campaign building memory.